St. Pantaenus the Philosopher was a Greek theologian and a significant figure in the Catechetical School of Alexandria from around AD 180. This school was the earliest catechetical school, and became influential in the development of Christian theology. Biography. Pantaenus was a Stoic philosopher teaching in Alexandria. He converted to the Christian faith, and sought to reconcile his new faith with Greek philosophy. His most famous student, Clement, who was his successor as head of the Catechetical School, described Pantaenus as the Sicilian bee. Although no writings by Pantaenus are extant, his legacy is known by the influence of the Catechetical School on the development of Christian theology, in particular in the early debates on the interpretation of the Bible, the Trinity, and Christology. He was the main supporter of Serapion of Antioch for acting against the influence of Gnosticism. In addition to his work as a teacher, Eusebius of Caesarea reports that Pantaenus was for a time a missionary, traveling as far as India where, according to Eusebius, he found Christian communities using the Gospel of Matthew written in Hebrew letters, supposedly left them by the Apostle Bartholomew. This may indicate that Syrian Christians, using a Syriac version of the New Testament, had already evangelized parts of India by late 2nd century. However, some writers have suggested that having difficulty with the language of St. Thomas Christians, Pantaenus misinterpreted the reference to Marthoma, who is currently credited with an evangelization mission to India by the Syrian churches, as Bartolomei. Others say Eusebius may have confused India with Arabia or Ethiopia, as was done by some other Greek writers. St. Jerome, apparently relying entirely on Eusebius's evidence from Historia Ecclesiastica, wrote that Pantaenus visited India to preach Christ to the Brahmins and philosophers there. Quote, "It is unlikely that Jerome has any information about Pantaenus's mission to India that is independent of Eusebius." On the other hand, his claim that many of Pantaenus's biblical commentaries were still extant is probably based on Jerome's own knowledge. His feast day is July 7th. 19th century and modern study on Pantaenus. The Universalist Church of America historian J. W. Hansen argued that Pantaenus must beyond question have taught universalism to Clement of Alexandria and Oregon. However, since it is now considered that Clement of Alexandria's views contained a tension between salvation and free will, and that he in Oregon did not clearly teach a universal reconciliation of all immortal souls in their understanding of apokatastasis, Hansen's conclusion about Pantaenus lacks a firm basis.